All right, hello there. Thank you for joining us right here on Aztec Media. Interestingly, we have quite a lot to talk about. Would employ you actually to join the conversation wherever it is you are. Now, ever since Nnamdi Kanu's trial began, there have been a lot of conversations surrounding it. Some people believe that Nnamdi Kanu's case is what is derailing the growth of the Southeast. Some people are also saying that the reason why the Southeast is in the quagmire it is now is because Nigeria has not yet been able to assimilate the Igbos. And so when the Igbos were trying to get into the mainstream of politics in Nigeria, Nnamdi Kanu resonated or resurrected something that the federal government, that is the other regions, has not been able to adapt with. And other Igbos who are trying to assimilate, come up, kind of be part of the system, that he created an estrangement with other regions. How true is this? This is something we're going to be discussing. Now, the question is, most of the conversations and most of the things that Amdi Kano was saying, are they true? If they are not true, then let's begin to dissect what are the areas that are false. But if they are true, the method he went about it, was it the right way he did? Should he have gone about it that way? A couple of people felt that if you're agitating for freedom, if you're fighting for freedom, you should have done it in a diplomatic way. But if you understand Nigeria as a country, if you understand the terrain, if you understand history, you don't go by getting something or getting recognized by being diplomatic. Others who have tried diplomacy, it never worked. For example, if you look at the agitation for the Yorubas, the Southwest, when they wanted to be recognized, they had their own way of going about it. In some instances, they were aggressive. In some instances, they went about it in a manner that a couple of persons may have thought would have disintegrated Nigeria. So the question is, the method with which Nnamdi Kanu went through his, what was the difference with what he did and what Sunday Igboho did? That's another question to consider. Two, did he reawaken the minds of a lot of dormant Southeasterners who were supposedly in the mindset of one Nigeria, but they didn't understand the politics that were at play? That's a question we want to ask here, because a couple of persons felt that he spoke too soon. He said a lot. He shouldn't have spoken the way he did. Like people, you don't say the truth when it comes to Nigeria. There's a method of going about it. So what other way would he have gone about it? Then, in the aspect of treasonable felony, what were the things he said that you'd consider to be treasonable? Was it the fact that he advise anyone to go with arms? Okay, there are some videos where he made such statements as to the fact that Biafra needs to be recognized, and the way to go about it is possibly by force. But did he instigate some of the things that happened in the Southeast? Or was it some politicians that took advantage of his clarion call and decided to disintegrate the Southeast? Chukwuma Soludo, the Anambra State governor, has said 99.9% of the crime in Anambra State is being done by Anambrarians, meaning it's being done by their own people. So again, if it is not done by their people, if it is done by politicians, why have those politicians not been named? If they are named, why have no one called them to question or called them to order? And now that Nnamdi Kanu's freedom is being talked about, would he concede to certain arrangements, to certain political and diplomatic solutions for his freedom? Nnamdi Kanu said it is his right to agitate. It is his right to clamor for freedom. It is his right as an individual, as a Nigerian, to say he wants to emancipate himself from Nigeria and force recognition for his people. But does he represent the interest of all the Southeasterners? Is it all the Southeasterners that are all about Biafra? Or is it just a segment of the Southeasterners that want Biafra? If there is a referendum now, was it all the Southeasterners I would say want to go away? There are some persons who don't want to go the way he wants to go. There are some persons who believe that it's convenient for them to go with one Nigeria. Again, these are the areas we'll be dissecting this conversation. We're trying to expand our knowledge of looking into this issue about Nnamdi Kanu. And I actually have right here with me Mr. Chukwuma Okoro. Mr. Chukwuma Okoro is a presenter, he's an analyst, he's an author in The Future of Politics. That's a book he wrote. And with that line of thought and with that idea, Mr. Chukwuma will be giving us some political strategies that we have missed, that we have not understood, or the way with which this case has been handled, the way it's been going, if we've been going about it the right way. Mr. Chukwuma, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
How are you?
Very well.
Okay. I'm sure you heard my intro, what we're talking about.
Yes.
What will you describe as your own perception to this? What would you describe the scenario as?
Well, Esther, in a few minutes that you spoke, you raised a lot of topics. From strategy, persecution, detention, to future. And so let me start from they reasoned the trend. Okay. Why didn't they kind of get into the agitation?
Yes.
A lot of people forget. It's convenient for them, especially people from the other side.
Okay.
To forget that initially, when Nnamdi Kanu started out as an activist, Nnamdi didn't start, by way of, I want us to divide Nigeria. I want us to balkanize Nigeria. That was not what it started out with. As at 2012, 2013, Nnamdi was a member of the SOP, but his main forte was, what do we do to make Nigeria a better place for all of us?
At the time.
At that time.
How many people are aware of this?
A lot of people who choose to know.
Okay.
And people who choose to ignore the facts of the matter.
People who choose to know. And people who choose to ignore the facts of the matter.
Okay. Because there are videos out there, that speak to what Nnamdi Kanu stood for at that time. Okay. His idea was, what do we do to make Nigeria a better place? Because a living space for every Nigerian. He recognized our, multicultural setting, that Nigeria is typically a multi-ethnic society. He also has a background. He lives in the UK.
Yeah.
And a lot of people also forget that UK is also multi-ethnic. You have the English, you have the Scotch, you have the Welsh, you even have the Irish in parts of the UK.
Sure.
So his idea at that time was, how do we modulate and moderate our differences to the extent that we are able to live together as a people? He was pushing that up till 2015, when a certain Nigerian leader, late Muhammad Buhari, may God bless his soul, made on the scene.
May God bless his soul.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
As Africans, we don't talk ill of the dead.
Sure.
So, and it was when Buhari came and started. First of all, he said, I belong to all, I belong to nobody. That was his mantra. That was his way of life. But he didn't act that. As someone who had won election then, it was incumbent on him, to become a father figure and treat all Nigerians as equal. Die politically and not embrace nationality. But not. To the total exclusion of the Igbo nation, about 12 people in
the regions. Did he assimilate other regions aside from the north?
No, we are talking about the Southeast now.
I know.
But to answer your question directly, it modernized Nigeria.
Okay.
He modernized Nigerian politics. The Southeast complained at that point.
But they were also part of his agenda. There was an inclusivity with the Southwest, even if it was not as best as they wanted it.
But at least they complained. And
the Southeast was an
isolation.
Yes.
For the South, it was total exclusion.
Yes.
And so that mantra of for all and for none, he didn't live it experimentally, existentially, but because what he did, like I said, was totally exclude the Southeast. And we saw it in security architecture, about 12 of them, in that setting. There was no single Southeasterner, not even one, to the extent that if you got into a security council meeting and you decided to kill all the people, nobody will come out and say, this is the plan. It was that bad. It was that bad. And apart from that, the only thing we did was to give the Igbo people the constitutional requirement of like 5 ministers. Each minister must come from a state. So that was the only thing we got. Even at that, we got junior ministers. Sure. Our slots were junior ministers. And to drive it home, Muhammad Buhari, to show the extent of his nepotism, he had in his immediate cabinet, not just cabinet, in his kitchen. How can I'm looking for the appropriate word to use now. His immediate handlers, there were about 8 of them. And of that, there were 11 of them. Of that 11, 9 were from the north. 9 of those northerners, 8 of those northerners were Muslims. Only 1 from North Central was Christian. The other 2 from the south, was 1 from the southwest, 1 from the south. It was in the course of his administration that he gave the southeast to 1. And you know what? It's personal photographer. And this is a man who had been, he went to Nigerian Military Academy, Kaduna. First of all, he went to the Nigerian Military College in Zaria. It was multi-ethnic. At that time, we had Easterners, we had Southeasterners, we had Westerners, people from the academy and got into the Nigeria. Having gone through that, he was going to be a nationalist. He was governor of Borno State. He was petroleum minister. He was head of state. And within those years, he wasn't able to build a court of friendship
Do you think he was a governor born?
Yes, he was minister governor of Borno State.
Okay.
He was minister governor of Borno State during the military regime. You know, the concept was this ethnic divide.
Yeah.
So when he became civilian president, we saw that reflect the style of things. Everything that he did for the North. So it was at that point that Nnamdi Kanu said, no, cannot be said. We were still smarting from the wounds of the Civil War.
Yeah.
You know, how many years after the Civil War, the South was still excluded from the commanding heights of Nigerian national life. In the economy, we were shut out. What do? Southeast, the only thing we do is buy and sell. And basically, that is not business. That's commerce, but not business. You know, and one policy from the government, you just take it where you're coming from. You know, so at that point, Nigerians, Igbos, especially, specifically, were excluded from the commanding heights of Nigeria. Because at that point, I think Nnamdi Kanu said, what did you do? You know,
it was like we were still in the Civil War period.
For Nigerian politics, it was a continuation of war.
It was like a deliberate way of economically crippling the Southeast by isolating them.
Couldn't develop the force in the Southeast. When you say had an international airport, ready to international standard, so if any man from above really needed to go to UK, first of all, either had to come to Lagos or go to Abuja or you know, to fly.
Can you imagine that?
You know, so it was that bad. It was at that point Nnamdi Kanu said, look, let us rejig this, you know. And by that 2015, you know, the Brexit had just, Scottish vote had just happened in 2014.
Yeah.
You know, and that union had existed for 300 years.
Sure.
When the Scots said, look, can we come to the round table and discuss this unity? And in 2015, we had the Brexit. And that is what is lacking in the Nigerian system. And when people come out to tell you that Nigerian unity is not negotiable, it makes it worse. It drives the insult into that marginalization. So when Nnamdi Kanu, because all means of peaceful resolution of these issues, these grievances had been closed out, he had no option, you know, than to take the route that he did. And that is what brought him, you know, into headlong confrontation with the Nigerian state. What happened? They captured him, planted him there. He went back home. They went to his house to kill him, and he ran away to UK. From there, he went to go. The Nigerian state conditioned him, got him back, and a court of competent jurisdiction tried him. And the court said, look, you don't even have the local standard to try this young man.
Sure.
And acquitted him, discharged him of all the charges against him. You know what? They rearrested him and preferred new charges against him. And that is what brought him to where we are now. So talking about treasonable felony. At a point in this country, we had the Boko Haram, you know, run a ring around 5 local government areas in Borno State. They didn't just capture those local governments. They hosted their flag, Islamic flag, and declared a caliphate, an emirate in that place. Now, afterwards, you capture those people and say they are repentant and you pardon them. Now, this young man that was merely waving a flag, we are keeping him
hostage,
incarcerated, you know. And it's like a lot of people believe that it is political persecution. So if you look at all these things, you see that it's simply like what on top of my head, I've the German military strategy, where he said that politics is a continuation of war by other means. I think Nigerian politics is simply a continuation of the Nigerian civil war by other means. That is what we are seeing. If you look at the parallels, look at what happens to Omoyele, his friend, when he was captured for calling for revolution. Look at Sunday people. Look at people in the north. That's exactly all of that. Did they go through all the routes? Did they go through the court process to get free? That is to tell you that he's being treated like as an evil man, a defeated man. And they are flashing it in the face of the Southeasterners. And you expect
especially at this time. Okay, so what do some people think about his call, his agitation is what has supposedly delayed the recognition and integration of the Southeast with the rest of Nigeria? The Southeast is still carrying the scars of the Civil War. And if you notice, after the Civil War, a lot of them went into their corner. They traveled outside the country, they dispersed, they set up homes in different locations across the globe. There is no place in the world you want to go that you will not meet an Igbo man. For some of them, they told and vowed to themselves that they will never come back to Nigeria because of what happened and because of what they experienced. So it got to a point like when the People's Democratic Party was set up, when APGA was set up, Nigeria was now trying to integrate itself politically, have a political party, they identify the part of the system. That's the Southeasterners. Some people feel that when Nnamdi Kanu started off the agitation, he created that disparity further because that distrust which the other regions in Nigeria were trying to embrace, were trying to cross over and embrace the Southeast, that he now created that vacuum. Do you think that's what it is?
No, that is not true. People that are saying that, people who spew that, are just trying to change the narrative, which is not true. The Igbo man has, since after the war, we have tried to read. And I keep saying that the Igbo man is the person who has displayed, an uncommon, commitment to Nigerian unity. Like you said, there is no part of this country that you go to, you don't find an Igbo man. And it's not just an after-war thing. It's not an after-war thing. We think that the Igbo man has been itinerant all over his life. Because if you go back in history, our own dear son, Emeko Dinogochukwu, when was he born? He was born in 1934. Where? In Zingeru, in northern Nigeria, present-day Niger State. And if you go further backwards, you discover that Nnamdi Azikiwe was born in 1904. Where? In that same Zingeru, in present-day Niger State. That's to tell you that even before independence, the Igbo man had spread, across all parts of Nigeria. So it is not an after-war thing. It's our nature. We have always, in all parts of the country, present South, we have thriving Igbo communities. In the Southwest, we have thriving Igbo communities in all parts of the country. So when people say that, look, Nnamdi's agitation put like a barrier, or stalled our integration, our reintegration into Nigerian society, I ask them, what happened to the 3 R's of rehabilitation, reconstruction, and reintegration? Did we follow that route? When Gowon pronounced all of that, no, we didn't. Initially, the plan was that Lagos, Port Harcourt, and Kaduna would develop as federal capital cities. After the war, that was one of the letters of the 3 R's. Building Lagos, they ignored Port Harcourt and all of that. The only federal president that you have in Port Harcourt is the federal secretariat, which is more like makeshift. The last time I went there, I don't know, some years ago, it was almost abandoned. So anybody that tells you that Nnamdi's station, put a stall to Nigeria's situation, it's insulting. And they are trying to recreate the narrative, which is false. I say that in the light of the fact that Kashim Shettima went to Enugu 2 weeks ago. You know what he told the Igbo people? Said the vast defection to APC had brought Southeast to the mainstream of Nigerian politics. A lot of us considered it very insulting. That for how many years, the defection of one man.
When you have Francis in Rivero, who is also in
He has always been there.
So you're saying that,
and you have the man. What has APC done? The president, when he went to Southeast to campaign in Enugu, I was in Enugu there. You know what he said? He said, if you don't vote for the APC, you just get a soaked slice of bread. And that's what you have been receiving since he became president. So you should blame it on Nnamdi Kanu. I would rather blame the Igbo leaders. Because what Nnamdi is doing is to step into the gap, the vacuum that lack of Igbo leadership created in the Nigerian political system to reintegrate the Igbos. We had traveled very far because shortly 9 years after the war, we got a vice president in the person of Ifeanyi Chukwuekwem. Alex Okwem. Now, in the past 26 years of our democracy, we can't even get a vice president. And then they gave us Senate president. 5 of them, we messed everything up. So it's a problem of, and clearly not a shared responsibility between the Nigerian state and Igbo leadership. And it looks like the Nigerian state is using the Igbo leaders to work against the Igbo interest. That is what it is at the moment. So it has nothing to do with, in fact, Nnamdi Kanu has merely advanced that cause to the extent that at least if an Igbo man speaks now, they say this people have come again. So that is what Nnamdi has done. Not, to bring the issue of the plight of the Igbo nation, to the front burner.
And that's what everybody's actually talking about right now. In fact, when Omoyele Sowore decided to go on the protest like he did, he resonated that call. reawoken. Everyone was talking about it. Even those who did not really understand what was happening decided to understand, decided to read, decided to revisit the case. So the question now is this: does the Nigerian court have the right to actually determine, or will I say, try this case? Now, the last time he said, okay, all these utterances he made that he says treason of felony, he made all of that in so does the Nigerian government have a right to try this case?
As a matter of fact, I'm not a lawyer, so I cannot give you the final points of the law.
Oh, we're just trying to bring in context.
So let's not do something or say something that is sub judice.
Okay,
so that it will not affect the case negatively.
I know. We're not saying anything sub judice. We're just trying to understand the basis.
No, we can talk about the politics of it.
No, the last time he appeared in court, that's what he said. Now, right now, they're trying him. He has said that he actually has no case.
That is what he said. What did the court say?
But the court is still saying that he has a case to respond.
That's why I said I'm not a lawyer, so I cannot give you, I cannot volunteer.
Do you think that this whole thing has once again alienated the Southeast from the mainstream of the political procession in Nigeria?
You see, the involvement of the Southeast in Nigerian politics has always been personal and transactional. To the extent that people who get into politics, on behalf of the Southeast, so-called behalf of the Southeast, go there to pursue personal interest. The Igbo man has always been elected, from the mainstream of politics. So when they say, oh, we are defecting because we want to bring us closer, no, they are pursuing their personal interest and not the interest of the Southeast people. We have a minister of works that is from the Southeast. How many of the federal roads in the Southeast are undergoing reconstruction? We have 2 superhighways, one running from from Lagos to Cross River State. How many Southeast states are involved? We have another one that is running from Badagry in Lagos State to Sokoto State. How many Southeast states are involved? Instead, the Enugu-Port Harcourt Expressway has been under repair as long as I was a young man up until this moment. Instead, the road to my own community, where I come from, has been decrepit for the past 30 years plus. It took the intervention of my state governor, Alex Oti, to do that road and probably invoice at the federal level. How many roads?
The problem about Southeast is not necessarily the entire Nigeria, it is the Southeast political elites.
No, Nigeria has a problem.
Okay.
And the Southeast elites compounds that problem. This is what we have. Everybody that becomes a governor, the next thing he wants to be vice president or president.
Do you think that
when they want to be president and vice president, at any beck and call, they are ready to sell their people?
Do you think this affected Peter, this thing we're discussing now?
Of course.
Do you think it's one of the political issues?
Who are the strongest opponents of Peter? They are not from the Southeast. He tells you that Obi can't be president. Soludo tells you that Obi can't be president. Ojino Kalu tells you that Obi can't be president. Have you seen any Yoruba man of means that told you that Obi can't be president? Find any. People that say that probably, middle class people, but you cannot see any man of means in the Southwest telling you that. Even if they mean it, they won't say it. But it is his brothers, his kinsmen that are quick to say, no, Obi can't be president. He should perish that thought.
Understand. All right, Mr. Chukwumakoro, thank you so much. I sincerely appreciate you giving us insight. Kindly subscribe, like, and share. I would like to know as well what you think in the comment section based on the conversation we've had. Mr. Chukwuma has been able to provide you a foundational background, like the background in for a historical perspective of how things got to where we are today, what started off as something for clamor or recognition or identification, and how it turned to Nnamdi Kanu being incarcerated within the DSS custody for this long. And the naysayers, the APC Urchuns, those who want to rewrite history, those who want to twist the narrative for their own unfounded purposes, Whatever it is we want to look at, what would you say is currently happening, and what's the political inclination of this? What is the future of the Igbos now that things have gotten to this point? Are we still in a conundrum? Have we woken up? Have the southeastern Nigerians woken up? Are they mentally awake? Do they understand how the politics work? Are they ready to go dirty? But with what we represent, with what we stand for, we don't believe in that kind of lifestyle. We don't trust that things need to be done in a shady way. Whatever it is you dislike, you say it out there. Whatever it is you like, you are able to, display it as well. Then how do we call the political elites in the Southeast to order? How do we question them? How do we ensure that there are punitive measures enacted on them and make sure that they are not continue to be re-elected that have kept the Southeast where it is today? Because the question a lot of Nigerians will ask, especially those who are in the opposition, will say, your economy is not yet developed. Your terrain is not something to emulate. And yet, Peter Obi says he wants to be president. If you've not been able to put in place certain structures in the Southeast, specifically in your home state, how then do you intend to do that for the rest of Nigeria? That's what the APC has always been saying when they want to make a comparison of Peter Obi and Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So these are the conversations and these are the questions we want you to respond to. So bye for now. Make sure you subscribe.